Good morning. My name is Patrick, and you're all very welcome to our Yin Yoga practice this morning. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with Yin Yoga. Yin Yoga is where we tend to hold asanas for longer periods of time, 3 to 5 minutes. The benefit of this is for stretching out the deeper tissues like ligaments, loosening out joints, the deep fascia around joints. It's very, very beneficial to improve overall flexibility. It's also very beneficial as a mindful practice associated with yoga to focus on sensations, physical sensations in the body. And we also use the practice to focus on the breath, which will help with deep relaxation. So we'll be doing a variety of asanas today, focusing a lot on the spine. I'll be offering modifications. In Yin Yoga, what's often spoken about is the green zone, the orange zone, and the red zone. The green zone is where you're not really feeling enough. You're not getting any great benefit from the stretch. The orange zone is ideally where you want to be. You want to be feeling a stretch, but you don't want to be in the red zone, which is more associated with feeling pain. So at any stage, if you're feeling discomfort, which is too much, come back from that. We'll be offering kind of modifications to help. We're all coming to the mat from different body types. Some of us may have injuries. So just do what you can. The benefit of Yin Yoga is just really to slightly improve your flexibility slowly. You're not going to dramatically open your hips in one Yin Yoga class. It's just a very gradual kind of practice, but it's very beneficial to the overall yoga practice, and the health benefits are amazing in terms of, becoming mindful, feeling better. A lot of people in Yin Yoga practice will feel a great release of negative emotions. So we'll be talking about that during the class. So as always, do what you can, back out of the pose if it's becoming too intense, and you can take a child's pose or Shavasana whenever you wish. I will be offering restful asanas between some of the more strenuous asanas. So we're just going to start with a basic pranayama. What's often associated with Yin Yoga is the parasympathetic system, which is the rest and relax phase in our metabolism. And we do that by focusing on the breath, often by elongating the exhale. So we'll start by becoming mindful of the breath, and then we will do some breath cultivation where I'll count you through elongating the breath. And during the class, if you try to focus on the breath, and we will obviously discuss that later in the class as well. So maybe we can start just for a few moments in a Sukhasana seated position. You can sit in a block. You can raise your seat on a blanket. Try to just let the hips slowly release out to the sides. Ideally, the knees should be at the level or below the hips. Just gently shutting your eyes and starting to become aware of the breath. Just observing where you feel the breath as it enters through the nose, the throat. Feel the chest expanding, feel the abdomen expanding. And as you exhale, feel the abdomen and chest sinking. Feel the breath leaving through the throat and nose. Just carry on like this for a few moments with your eyes closed, with your normal breathing rhythm, just focusing on the breath and the various sensations. Now we're just going to cultivate and elongate the breath. So at the next exhale, just hold the breath. We're going to use a metronome as I normally do, just to help with the counting. So next inhale for 4. Exhale 4. Inhale 4. Exhale 4. Inhale 4. Exhale 4. Inhale 4. Exhale 4. Inhale 4. Exhale 6. Inhale 4. Exhale 6. Inhale 4. Exhale 6. Inhale 4. Exhale 6. Inhale 4. Exhale 8. Inhale 4. Exhale 8. Inhale 4. Exhale 8. Inhale 4. Exhale 8. Just returning now to your normal breathing rhythm. So throughout the class, just try to come back to your breath. Your breath is your anchor, which brings you to the present moment. So one of the great benefits of the Yin practice is to become mindful, to focus on the breath, just trying to remain present throughout the practice. So our first asana this morning is butterfly pose. So in butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana, we're going to draw the soles of our feet together. And depending on your body type, you may prefer to keep the feet farther away from the sitting bones or draw them in closer. So experiment which feels more comfortable this morning. Just allowing your hips to gently open, allowing your knees to gently drop out to the side. You may wish to raise your sitting bones sitting on a cushion, on a folded up towel or blanket. Sometimes if our hamstrings are tight, this pose can be challenging, so it's very beneficial. So this pose is going to work on the external rotators in the hips, just to allow opening of the hips. And you're also going to feel a stretch on the groin, the adductors. When we're comfortable here, we're going to fold forward, allowing our head to drop towards our feet. And we can experiment with using props here. If you need a cushion or a bolster under your head. So ideally your head shouldn't be hanging. You should allow your head just to drop and rest on a cushion or a bolster. Allowing the upper body to relax. You're going to start to feel a deep stretch
the spinal muscles, cervical spine, as your head starts to gently drop down towards a cushion. You can also use your hands to gently support the head. This feels good. Trying to observe any sensations that you may be feeling. Maybe tightness in the hips, tightness in the fascia, the lower spine, the sacrum area. Remember to stay in the orange zone. Feeling any areas of tension, you can send your breath there, visualizing a deep relaxation in the tissues. Trying to remain present, focusing on the breath, focusing on sensations. If thoughts are rising, observe them, let them pass. Trying to keep your exhales long, focusing on longer exhalations, stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system and the stretch response. Visualizing your knees dropping down towards the mat, your hips opening. Visualizing the relaxation in the external rotation muscles of the hips. Focusing on the tissues in the lower back, visualizing relaxation in the muscles and fascia. Loosening out the tissues of the lower spine. Going back up to seated. Leaving your props to one side.
Next asana is banana. The banana pose, we're going to lie on our back.
So the first side we're going to move our feet over to the right hand side.
And also we're going to gradually move our arms to the right. So we're in the shape of a banana. If it feels comfortable, you can lift your left ankle over the right. So we're going to feel a deep stretch down the left side of the body. So the transverse abdominal muscles, the intercostal muscles, you'll feel a stretch along the left-hand side of the chest. Also along the left side of the cervical spine. So again, keeping the practice of focusing on physical sensations, focusing on the breath, keeping the breath relaxed, long exhales. Allowing your mind to quieten, letting go of thoughts. You can visualize here that you're breathing into the left side of your lungs. If you're feeling any tightness down the left side of your body, sending your breath there and visualizing it soften and relax. When you're ready, coming back to center. This time going in the opposite direction, sliding your feet over to the left. Your hands stretching up and again reaching out towards the left. This time feeling a deep stretch down the right side of the transverse abdominals, right side of the chest. Keeping your focus on the breath and the physical sensations. Again, if it feels comfortable, you can lift your right ankle up over the left. And if the stretch is too deep, If you feel you're heading into the red zone, just back away. You should feel a deep stretch, but no pain. This time, focusing on sending your breath into the right side of the lungs. When you're ready, coming back to center. Our next asana is angel pose. So we're coming up into a seated position, drawing our feet in towards our pubic bones. Grabbing our knees, wrapping our arms around our knees, and allowing our head to gently rest on our knees. Again, we're stretching out the fascia here in the lumbar spine. If this feels uncomfortable, you can raise your sitting bones onto a towel or a cushion. Maintaining, if you can, the practice of focusing on the breath. Slow, deep inhales and longer exhales. Focusing on any physical sensations. If you feel any tightness, focus on the physical sensation, send your breath there and feel it vanish. Feel the tissues soften and relax. You may feel this pose in your glutes, stretching the glutes, also the quads. We're lying down onto the mat. Next pose we're coming to is bridge pose.
So traditionally in yin practice, in bridge pose, you are going to place a block under your sacrum. And depending on
the degree of spinal extension that's available to you today,
you can experiment with the height of the block,
you can place the block in the lower setting
or in the higher setting.
Arms are gently resting on the mat. Palms are facing up. You can get a shoulder stretch. If you wish to get a quad stretch, you can also move your feet forward. Keeping the focus on the breath, focusing on physical sensations. In this position, it's a good stretch for the hip flexors, the quads. You're also stretching out the front line, the abdominal muscles, rectus abdominis. Try to soften into the pose, maintaining your focus on the breath and physical sensations. Again, allowing your mind, try not to let it wander. Thoughts are occurring, observe them, let them pass. Come back to the focus on the breath and physical sensations. Again, there should be no pain here. Should be feeling a deep stretch, but no pain. Bringing your feet back in towards your sitting bones, gently lifting up and removing your block. Come into a Shavasana here for 1 minute. Again, observing the deep stretch that you felt in that last challenging asana. Allowing everything to soften and relax. Next asana we're coming to is fish pose. So in fish pose, you'll either place a block or a cushion under your thoracic spine between the shoulder blades. So again, you may need to experiment what suits just to try and get into a good position. So lying back onto your block. You may wish to place a cushion under your head, so there's not too much extension in the cervical spine.
You should feel a deep stretch here across the shoulder, so just experiment and move around until you get into a comfortable position. The arms are relaxed, the palms are facing up. This allows a deeper stretch into the shoulders. And keeping your eyes closed. Again, maintaining the practice of focusing on your breath. Slow, deep inhales, longer exhales. Focusing on any sensations that you're feeling across the shoulders, the thoracic spine, the intercostal muscles. Keeping the breath steady and relaxed. Gently raising yourself up, with your hands, pressing into your hands, moving your block, putting it to one side. And again, just taking Shavasana for 1 minute.
Our next asana is melting heart pose. We're going to come first into a tabletop position. Going to place cushion under our chest. Depending on the degree of extension that's available in your spine, you might have to experiment with the size of the cushion. If you're keeping your sitting bones high, letting your chest drop onto your cushion, resting either your chin or your forehead on the mat. You can experiment with leaving your arms stretched out. Or if this is uncomfortable, pointing them back. Again, you're going to feel this in the lower spine, across the shoulders. Can be quite an intense pose, so maintaining the focus on your breath. Deep, slow inhales, longer exhales. Focusing on the sensations you're feeling. If you feel tightness or stiffness, sending the breath there. A lot of people will feel a deep stretch here in the sacroiliac joint. So again, sending your breath there, focusing on sensations. Allowing everything to soften and relax. It's a great asana for anyone that works at a computer or desk. They can develop kind of rounding across the shoulder. So this is a great shoulder opening asana. Coming back up to a tabletop position. Going to come to crocodile pose just for a minute. So lying into a prone position. Resting your right or left cheek on your hands. Focusing on everything that you felt during that last challenging asana. Keeping the breath
slow and relaxed. Maintaining the practice of observing the thoughts, letting them pass. You can ask yourself, am I my thoughts, or am I the observer of my thoughts? Trying to be the silent observer. Coming back onto tabletop position now. Next asana we're coming to is child's pose. So in child's pose, you can keep your knees together if that feels good today. If you're looking for a gentle hip stretch, you can keep your big toes together, knees are wide on the mat. It's allowing your sitting bones to drop down towards your heels and allowing your forehead to come down onto the mat. Again, you can come in embryo pose. You can keep your arms pointing back. If you're wishing to get another shoulder stretch, moving your hands forward. This time, palms facing down. So again, allowing everything to soften and relax. You can feel a deep stretch here across the hips, the groins, the adductor muscles, inside the thigh, and the shoulders if your arms are forward. If it's challenging for your forehead to meet the mat, you can also place a towel or a cushion under your forehead. Maintaining the practice of focusing on the physical sensations, staying in the orange zone. If you're feeling tension, sending the breath there, visualizing the tissues soften and relax. Again, coming out of the pose and just coming to crocodile pose. Placing one hand on top of the other, and this time placing the opposite cheek on your hand. Feeling yourself sinking into the mat. Coming now to Sphinx pose. So Sphinx pose, our forearms are parallel on the mat, hands pointing forward. Keeping the head in a neutral position. This is challenging. You can place your hands on your cheeks to support your head. Again, you're feeling a deep stretch here in the fascia, in the lumbar spine. You may feel it also across the shoulders, in the cervical muscles in the neck. Keeping your focus on the breath, physical sensations. If you're feeling any pain, just slightly back out of the pose. If you wish to create a deeper spinal extension, you can also come to seal pose by lifting your elbows up off the mat. Experiment with how forward to maintain the position of your hands. Remember, you don't want to feel any pain here. Sending the breath to the areas that feel tight. Keeping the breathing slow and deep, long exhalations.
Coming for the last time to crocodile pose, this time placing the opposite hand on top. Allowing your cheek or your forehead to rest on your hands. Again, trying to observe all the physical sensations you felt in Sphinx, which can be a challenging asana. From crocodile pose, we're going to roll over onto our back. Come to our final Shavasana. In Shavasana, feet are wide on the mat. Toes dropping out to the sides. Hands are also wide on the mat. Palms facing up. Keeping the eyes gently closed. Focusing again on the breath. Observing as you inhale the gentle rise of the abdomen. And as you exhale, the abdomen sinking down towards the mat. Staying here for a few moments, just focusing on your own breath. Now bringing your attention to your feet. Visualizing your feet as being heavy, sinking into the mat. Visualizing your ankles and calves, again being heavy and sinking into the mat. Visualize your thighs, heavy, sinking into the mat. Visualizing your hips. Your hips are heavy, sinking into the mat. Visualizing now the whole of the right leg, the whole of the left leg. Tensing up all the muscles of both legs. Then allowing them to totally soften and relax. Letting go of any sensations you feel in the legs. Bringing your attention now to your hands and wrists. Visualize your hands and wrists heavy, sinking into the mat. Visualizing the forearms heavy and sinking. Elbows are heavy and sinking into the mat. Upper arms heavy and sinking. Likewise, the shoulders heavy and sinking into the mat. Engaging now all the muscles of both arms, right and left. Feeling them now, both arms soft and relaxed, letting go of any sensations. Visualizing now all of the pelvic area, heavy and sinking into the mat. The lower lumbar spine muscles, all of the abdomen, heavy and sinking. Chest, all the muscles around the ribs, thoracic spine, heavy, sinking in towards the mat. Neck is heavy, head is heavy, sinking in towards the mat. Now letting go of any sensations in the lower body, chest, neck and head. Feel everything soft and relaxed. Your whole body is now soft and totally relaxed, gently sinking into the mat. Staying with the breath and these physical sensations for a few moments. Starting now to bring the focus again back to the breath. Start to waken up the physical body. Start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Make gentle circles with the wrists and ankles. Rock the head slowly from side to side. You may wish to take a deep inhale and stretch your arms up overhead. Deep exhale, side out. One more deep inhale, side out. Drawing your knees in towards your chest, giving them one last well-deserved hug. Taking as much time as you need. Turning over to the right-hand side. And again, taking your time, pressing your left hand into the mat, coming up to any comfortable seated position. You may wish to place your hands in prayer. Thanking yourself for coming to class today, thanking your body for everything it has done. thanking your fellow yogis and yoginis for sharing in this practice. I'd like to thank you sincerely for letting me lead your practice today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.